Tonight, the women's arm of the political opposition United Workers' Party has joined the growing number of supporters in solidarity with the PWA on investigating allegations of sexual harassment. The Soufrière Regional Development Foundation speaks out on the cancelled events, while the Culture Minister admits failure. And the Cannabis Commission continues several rounds of rigorous consultations ahead of moves to establish a ganja industry here.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Daniela Edwin.
Good evening. It is Thursday, June 29th, 2023. I am Daniela Edwin. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We are on Flow Channel 117, Kiss FM, the Caribbean Hot FM mobile app, and the Caribbean Hot 7 TV Facebook page. Not forgetting those of you using the Hot 7 plug and play antenna. Thank you for joining us. The women's arm of the opposition United Workers' Party is demanding an independent investigation into the allegations of sexual misconduct leveled at Acting Police Commissioner Ronald Phillip. The group also called for the accused to be suspended from duty until he is cleared of all wrongdoing. The post of top cop, they say, is too important to allow any suspicions to linger over the character of the person occupying it. Eldridge Charles begins tonight's reporting.
With the tenure of former Police Commissioner Cressida Descat-Pellews coming to an end, the choice for her replacement has come under scrutiny. The individual who is mooted to be her successor has been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Recently, it came to light that the president of the Police Welfare Association, Cameron Law, had penned a letter to then Commissioner Pellews requesting an independent investigation into several allegations of sexual misconduct against the high-ranking cop. According to the letter, there have been as many as 6 accusations so far. The letter, which was copied to the Prime Minister, the Minister for Home Affairs, and the Public Service Commission, still remains unanswered. This has sparked outrage from the women's arm of the United Workers' Party, who held a press conference at the offices of the leader of the opposition on Thursday, June 29th, to show support to the victims and to echo the calls for the matter to be investigated. Deputy Chairperson of the UWP, Fortuna Belrose, expressed profound disappointment in the hierarchy of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force for its failure to probe the matter, especially since it has been revealed that these allegations were reported years ago, spanning the tenure of 2 previous police commissioners. Such positions of authority, she states, demand a level of integrity and act as a moral compass for the young people to aspire.
The position of Commissioner of Police demands integrity. It demands commitment. It demands sound leadership with the ability to maintain and preserve law and order. This is too important a position to be treated in any callous or nebulous manner. When it comes to the integrity of our police officers, and especially that of top cop, there can be no room for doubt. We also call on the Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for National Security, to first remove himself from this position, as there is a perceived conflict of interest between him and the gentleman in question. The public is still not satisfied that there is not a close connection and relationship between the two of them. We also call on the Prime Minister to immediately rescind the acting appointment and call for an independent investigation into these allegations. Nothing less would do.
Belrose also chided Home Affairs Minister Dr. Virginia Albert Poyot, who coincidentally is also responsible for gender affairs and the public service. Belrose lambasted the minister for her callous remarks to the victims, advising them to go to court. Despite being at the forefront of the fight against gender-based violence, Belrose laments her female counterpart is ineffective and incapable of doing her job.
I would hope that by now the Minister of Home Affairs, who herself was an advocate for women, a trade unionist as she credits herself to be now, would use her good office to pursue every action and urgently seek the relevant advice to initiate an immediate investigation into the complaints and concerns put forward by the women or by the Police Welfare Association on behalf of its members. The Minister of Home Affairs has a duty to respond to the concerns of the Police Welfare Association. To remain silent or not even acknowledge their concern is truly reprehensible and demonstrates insensitivity to what may also be a violation of one's fundamental rights, in the workplace. This is further compounded by the fact that the Minister of Home Affairs is also the Minister of Gender Relations and the Minister for the Public Service. It begs the question, continue.
Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Eldridge Charles.
In the aftermath of an underwhelming 2023 Soufrière Carnival, the chairman of the SRDF has fired back at what he claims to be an orchestrated attempt to destroy the reputation of the foundation. In a sit-down interview on NBC's Zafenu program, Mr. Sam Auger took a strong stance in defending the work of the organization, despite the criticisms.
The 2023 staging of Soufrière Carnival has come under much criticism from members of the public. What was supposed to be a merry period for revelers in the community quickly turned into a fiasco following the cancellation of the planned J'ouvert activities and an underwhelming turnout at the main concert. One of the major stakeholder organizations which has come under fire for the event's failure is the Soufrière Regional Development Foundation. In recent days, the SRDF has faced accusations from Senator Herod Stanislaus, who particularly chided the leadership of the organization for its alleged mismanagement of the proceedings. Chairman for the SRDF, Sam Auger, has stated that the organization is not afraid of criticism in light of this situation. He added that during his tenure as chairman, the foundation opened several forums where the public can freely express their views on the operations and activities of the SRDF.
Over the last week, we've been hearing quite a bit about what happened in Soufrière. Now, I really thought it was all about a review of Carnival and things like that. I want to state very open and clearly, we at the foundation, we're not afraid of reviews. We're not afraid of reviews of Carnival, or we're not afraid of a review of the operations of the foundation. So much so that in the history of the foundation, in all its years, we're the only ones who have opened the foundation to public scrutiny. We had a public forum where we invited the Soufrière public and anybody else in a town hall session, open town hall session, to question us about the operations of the foundation. We gave a full review of our operations. We gave a full review of what we see and what we hope to do. And we're totally transparent. People ask questions. And this was the first ever. So we're not afraid of reviews.
While he made it clear that he was open to criticism, Auger did not take kindly to what he claims to be organized attacks used to undermine the work of the organization. The chairman believes that it is because his detractors are envious of the gains made by the foundation over the past few months.
When I heard the comments, I said, you see this thing, boy? I really thought it was all about Carnival. But then the comments we've been hearing of late confirm what we knew, that there is an orchestrated attempt to interfere with the reputation of the foundation, to destroy it, because there have been too many gains by the foundation over the last few months.
Meanwhile, Minister for Culture Ernest Hilaire has recognized the issues surrounding the hosting of Soufrière Carnival as a cause for concern. Hilaire, whose ministry had made special allocations for the hosting of community carnivals, admitted that more needed to be done for the people of Soufrière. The minister believes that there must be some reworking done to the structure of the event after this year's disappointing showcase.
There's been a lot of talk about what happened in Soufrière, and sometimes when you're in public life, and I've learned that for many years been in public life in St. Lucia, regionally as well, that you take blows, you listen, and you learn, and you come back better every time. I've really learned that lesson. And I've sat down, I've reflected, I've heard all different sides of the stories, accusations, whatnot. I think in the end, we have to say that we've let down Soufrière and the Soufrière people. And I'm not casting blame.
We being
the whole infrastructure, the whole structure.
Right.
And we owe it to Soufrière to get it right, because the people of Soufrière deserve to be part of this cultural experience, and for a community that has had a very high standard. The people have been let down, and we need to correct that, and we will correct it. Let the noise settle, let all the back and forth settle, and we will correct it. Soufrière deserves, a truly fantastic experience that they've given to this country.
Revelers in the community will hope that the problems surrounding this cultural showcase will be amended appropriately in time for next year's version of the event. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Quinn.
The Cannabis Task Force is reporting that the previous draft legislative framework that will guide the establishment of the cannabis industry in St. Lucia has been updated to reflect the recommendations made during their continued stakeholder engagement. As the task force moves into the final phases of completing its consultations, they forecast that the final bill will be presented to the Parliament of St. Lucia before the end of the year.
The Cannabis Task Force is continuing its rigorous consultations as described by the Public Relations Officer Vernie Manuel to ensure that no stone is left unturned in establishing a comprehensive legislative framework to ignite the cannabis industry here on island. On Thursday 29th, the task force hosted a press engagement to apprise the general public on the progress which has been made so far. Since its inaugural meeting on March 2nd, 2022, the task force has been reviewing the existing proposed framework for the cannabis industry and engaging with stakeholders to agree on a regime that is robust, safe, and inclusive. PRO Vernie Manuel reports that the draft Controlled Substance Bill is consistently being tweaked and amended to include the recommendations presented by the various stakeholders. He notes that this is being done to ensure that all bases are covered when the final legislation is put to Parliament.
We've completed the draft Controlled Substances Bill, which will speak to the regulation of cannabis. We're moving from prohibited framework to a permitted use framework. What is envisaged in that bill is for licenses along the value chain of cannabis production. St. Lucia has taken a policy initiative to permit the use of cannabis for medicinal, industrial, and research. And we have been having stakeholder engagements with the medical associations and the medical sector. We intend to have further discussions with the pharmaceutical sector, with the pharmacy associations, the tourism sector, the banking sector, and the ministries of agriculture and health for their specific regulatory functions in the use of that new legislation.
Moreover, Emmanuel informs that there are a plethora of intricacies associated with completing a comprehensive legislative framework to establish a cannabis industry on island, such as keeping the bill in line with international regulations and avoiding conflict with existing laws.
Those consultations have been very rigorous in going through the requirements of the bill, and also this bill has to be put in place to meet our international obligations. And at every stage, we've literally been fine-tuning and seeing where any areas of incongruence or incompatibility with the existing national framework, with other laws, where there may be conflicts, where there may be points of incongruence, where there may be points of inoperability within the system. And as such, while we're not trying to get it perfect, we're trying not to make specific missteps that may render the industry inoperable.
The task force anticipates that these consultations will culminate in the coming months so that the eventual bill can be debated in Parliament by the end of the year.
From there, we anticipate that within the next 2 months, we will see the completion of this process, and before the end of the year, we anticipate that we will have a bill coming to Parliament.
Emmanuel declares that in the near future, subsequent to the stakeholder consultations, engagements will be hosted with the general public to explain the requirements for entry by the cannabis industry. Reporting for the Hot 7 TV News, I am Kareem Nelson.
Still in the first segment of the broadcast, the POV. The POV provides you, our valued viewers and listeners, an opportunity to sound off on trending issues in the news only from your point of view. Government has announced its decision to delay the implementation of a 2.5% health and security levy here. This comes amid much public debate, contradiction and confusion regarding which items will attract the tax. The levy was supposed to take effect on July 1st. Our question to you is, how do you feel about the postponement of the 2.5% health and security levy?
Well, if you say the government is willing to postpone that levy, well, I don't really know. I don't know, maybe they don't have money, but why would you want to postpone something that is good for the nation? That's what I have to say. I don't know. Let's try something.
I think they should postpone it indefinitely because it's an additional burden on poor people, and they say they care about poor people, and adding more tax on poor people, a lot of people are going to starve, a lot of people are going to suffer, squeeze even more in St. Lucia. So I think they should postpone it indefinitely.
Not only postpone, I just only hope that they will just remove it. Just remove it. Because I don't have the money. Because I have to bury my husband next week. If they postpone it, that will be good. If they, in fact, remove everything on every tax, everything that they tax, even the little phone card, they buy it, the little top up, it tax. They should remove all that. That will be good.
They have to take out all VAT. There are some people not working at all. Cannot shopping, nothing like that.
We should go ahead with it, but it's too high. And my complaint about the government is the fact that they're saying 80 years. You understand? 80 years old for pensioners or able people to get free medication. That is ridiculous. People don't live 40 years these days. Time for you to be 25, you're dead.
It's a good thing, right? Because right now people don't have money to spend. So them now delaying that 2.5% is a good thing for us in the country, right?
Coming up next on the broadcast, the Prime Minister reacts to an open letter from the leader of the opposition describing the missive as constructive and collaborative input. And SLASPA addresses concerns about the Uranora International Airport tarmac. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.